Vanakkam. Guys are still awake? Fourth pitch in a row. Lots of AI overdose, right? And I'm going to continue that. But Vishal, Shweta, and Madhu kind of set the stage for some of the things that I'm going to be talking about. I'm not going to talk about blockchain, but this is a plug for the technologies that I'm working on. This afternoon, I was talking to some of the professors out here, and they said, I was surprised that this is the first time they are hearing about blockchain as a technology that is evolving. Blockchain is a technology has been around for people who know Bitcoin, and then now it's coming into the enterprise as well. And as I was thinking about my own journey, I've been in the IT industry for about 30 years plus and counting. And the evolution of the, Shweta talked about the fourth industrial revolution, and Vishal talked about PCs to mobility to cloud to AI. In fact, I joined the industry even before PCs. I started my career in IBM mainframe computers, doing CICS, COBOL, and DB2, and that's how I got into the whole IT field. I was looking at, okay, I'm here at 30 years doing blockchain technologies. I'm not doing what I started my career anymore. How will the future of work look like, let's say, 20 years from now, 10 years from now? I think it's too long of a time to even talk about how would it be in 2050, but there are certain indicators for us in India that all of us in the could look into, and that's what I'm going to be talking about. There are three key points that I'm going to be talking about, and one is about how the industry has evolved over a period of time, and thanks to Vishal and Shweta, I perhaps will not spend much time on it. The second area is how all these industrial revolutions have really helped us grow the GDP, or we are better off with every revolution that has taken place. Of course, the skills required to be essential in that the technologies that are at play are different, and that goes to learn, unlearn, and relearn kind of a cycle. But it has actually helped the world economy grow. The GDP of India, or any country for that matter, where it was during the first industrial revolution to where it is now and where it is likely to grow, is immense, and I will make a case on that. And the third one is coming closer to home, how we in the academia can or need to transform ourselves in terms of what we teach, how we relate to the industry. So that's going to be the snapshot of what I'm going to be doing. Can we get this to play, please? No. It's a video that needs to be played. Yep.
After publishing hundreds of journal articles, he did a PhD in Carnegie Mellon on artificial intelligence and postdoctoral in robotics at Stanford. I have great pleasure in introducing Dr. Viswanathan to share with this august audience his experience with andro-humanoid robot.
I would like to call my friend, my brother, my son Chitti Babu to come on the stage. Hi. Good morning, everybody. He is none other than my creation, Chitti, the robot.
Speed 1 terahertz, memory 1 terabyte.
Gentlemen, இவன் ஒரு ஆள் 100 பேர் சம் 100 பேரோட அறிவும் திறமையும் இவனுக்கு ப்ரோக்ராம் செய்யப்பட்டிருக்கு. இவனுக்கு எல்லா கலைகளும் தெரியும். உலகின் எல்லா மொழிகளும் தெரியும். He can dance, he can fight, and he is a sportsman. He is a fire resistant, water resistant, inbuilt vehicle. இவனோட கண்கள் பார்க்கிறதுக்கு மட்டும் இல்ல, காட்டுறதுக்கும் தான். இவங்கிட்ட வர்ச்சுவலா பேச முடியும். இந்த டைப் ரோபோகளால நம்ம தேசத்துக்கு வளர்ச்சியும் பாதுகாப்பும் 100 மடங்கு அதிகரிக்கும். நீங்க சித்திக்கிட்ட ஏதாவது கேட்கறதா இருந்தா கேட்கலாம்.
சிம்பிளா கேட்கிறேன். 24157817 ஃபிபனோச்சி நம்பரா?
ஆமா, 22வது ஃபிபனோச்சி நம்பர். பை தி வே, அது மந்தவள்ளி பி சுப்பிரமணியத்தோட போன் நம்பர்.
உனக்கு தெரிஞ்ச மிகப்பெரிய பிரைம் நம்பர் என்ன?
M44. இது சரியான்னு பார்க்க உங்களுக்கு சில வருஷங்கள் ஆகும்.
Good.
Amazing. It's great.
இது என்ன ராகம்?
நாட்டு குறிஞ்சி பாடுறேன்னுட்டு உசேரி போயிட்டீங்க. நடுவுல இந்த இடத்துல சுதி விலகிடுச்சு.
So I didn't put this just because I'm a Rajini fan, but the kind of stuff that they're talking about in this 2-minute clip is what AI could portend for all of us. If this is where we are headed, or we headed, I don't know. There are a lot of debates about what is the goodness of AI versus what it could do otherwise as well. Leaving that aside, if that's where we are headed, how would the future of work look like? And that's what I'm going to do with my own personal examples and some of the things that we talked about. I started my career with punch cards. In Anna University, we used to have some system where we need to go book hours. We'll have this Fortran programming that we have to do. And that's how I started my career. Even when I went into the IT field doing COBOL programming, this is what I did. People in this generation, or even the generation after me, would perhaps don't know what a punch card is, but that was foundational. Typewriter. Even though I was going to Anna University, I was kind of forced to learn the QWERTY keyboard because that was a job guarantee for me as I get out. Right? So how many of us know what happened to the typewriter industry, or whether we even use it? It's perhaps in some museum somewhere. Rotary telephone. It took us over 12 years and some influence to get a landline at home. And now India has gone through a major telco revolution. It is available on demand to anyone who wants it. These three are just examples of some of the revolutions that has taken place in just the 30 years that I can relate to. And all these were technology marvels at the time. They are no longer there. They have been replaced with different kinds of technologies, mobility and whatnot. But this was the work at the time, and we no longer look at that anymore. Another example. How many of you recognize this? Perhaps very few, right? The first music system we had in my home, not this fancy, but what we call as a record player. The huge records that you buy in different speeds and you play. Sometimes it goes fast, sometimes it goes slow. The music would be horrible. Then came tapes. I think there was a space between this where there were spool tapes, but these cassette tapes were out there. We used to have a collection of them at home. And then came this CD, and the piracy and the ability to copy and whatnot changed. I used all of these, and I no longer use them anymore. This is what I use now. In Google Home, it knows what music I wanted to play during the morning, in the evening, or even when I go to bed. There are things that it knows, and it learns ever so often about me, and then just responds to my voice. Things are changing. The point I'm making here is technologies have evolved. How we adopted technologies have changed. And Vishal talked about Moore's law. The technologies that have changed over a period of time has really helped world grow. How do we serve 7 billion people and counting? And the technologies through its spread, even though it's scary sometimes in terms of adoption, and there's a big discussion going on in India and rest of the world, is automation going to take away jobs? What will humans do if machines are going to take us over, like the Chitti in that Endiran? What will happen? It is not about, we believe, and IBM we believe, it is not about machine versus man. It is machine and man. How can you leverage the technologies that are coming out there? Now, we keep talking about AI, and another big thing that is coming down the pike is quantum computing. There are a few companies out there that are doing some leading edge technologies. Just to give you a perspective, anything that we have done around encryption today can be solved with the quantum computer within a fraction of a day. What people say it takes years to break 32-bit algorithm, 64, 128, whatever you may see, they all can be broken with quantum computing. When Shweta talks about learn, unlearn, and relearn, with the advent of computers, with the advent of quantum computing, all of us will have to relearn how we look at bits and bytes. It's no longer zeros and one anymore. It is going to be zeros and one and all the states in between. The technology is out there that talks about 50 qubits, how the 50 quantum bytes can come together. What if 500 qubits could come together? I think that's the race the industry is out there, and IBM is also into that. So the point here is, either we can look at all these evolutions or revolutions that are happening with technology as something to be scared or worried about, or alternately, we should look at it as our friend and how we can use it, adopt it for bettering ourselves. How can we better solve world's hunger, solve problems around healthcare that we have not been able to solve? How do we continue to serve 1.2 billion people or more? And that's where we are headed. This comes to the third part of my case here. It's about, if this is where things are going, quantum computing, AI, machine learning, deep learning, whatever you can think of, the new paradigm that is coming out, what do we need to do in India, particularly in the academia, to get ready for work like this? In IBM, there was a study done with over 500 universities in India and also around the globe, and there was a publication that was done about where is the academics in India now, and what are some of the challenges, and where we need to go. And that's what I'll spend a few minutes on this. This is no news here. The business models are changing. Madhu presented about Amazon. We all know it started out as a book e-commerce distributor. Now they're talking about cloud, they're talking about streaming videos and whatnot. How the technologies have enabled different players to come into different streams, and how the whole supply chain around any business has changed, has disrupted what you need to learn and what is taught in colleges. There are a lot of details around this, which I'm glad to make it available through Lawrence. But the point here is, what we have known thus far are changing, and they're changing faster than we know of. And this is no news, given some of the studies that have come about. Are we ready? Are we preparing our students to enter into this marketplace where things are changing? And there are some numbers that are talking about how the technology is disrupting what the higher education model that we have and what the market is looking for. There is a wide chasm right now, and that continues to grow unless we do something to change it. There are 5 fundamental challenges that educators in India are talking about. One is, how do I respond to the market needs at a faster pace? Currently, it is slow. How do I have curriculum that is relevant to the market? some of the great experiments around the Facebooks and the Googles of the world that we know of were born out of some of the work that was done in classes in US. So can we do something like that in India? How do we provide cheaper access to education? There are lots of universities and colleges that are out there, but are we providing quality education? So the list goes on. Because of the time, I'm going to cut through and speed up a little bit. There were 3 priorities or 3 actions that we could take that will help our academia and our students to get ready for the new AI and the new kinds of technologies or the new world of economy that is coming in. And these are nothing new per se. How do we ensure there is a collaboration, or what we do is related to what is out there in the marketplace? Can we have more internships? Can we have more courses that has a partnership between the industry and what is being taught in colleges? And can we use technologies to change the way we deliver education? Can we make it available across the board much better, faster, and cheaper? There are plenty of technologies that are available that will make it possible. But the question is, are we adopting it and making use of the technologies that are at play and available today? And a lot of those stuff are free, by the way. And the last one is about industry and academia partnering to further some of these things that we are talking about. So in summary here, the changes are coming. Every industrial revolution, like Raghuram Rajan mentioned, has bettered the world in some shape or fashion. It has disrupted some of the technologies, some of the employability factors of people around. It had created some nervousness, but new opportunities have come. It has made the life better for millions and millions of folks. And this new AI and whatever the quantum computing that is going to come, the disruptions are out there, and it is for us to adopt and move forward. And for that, we have to be learning, unlearning, and relearning. Thanks a bunch.